Okay, assalamu alaikum once again, all of you. And today's topic of the AFM that we are going to discuss, that is topic about acquisition, mergers, reconstruction, and reorganization. And this one is the complete one topic. And in a broader context, we can call this topic as restructuring of business portfolio. In a broader context, all of the topic we can call of the term restructuring of business portfolio. So, what does that mean? Candidates, a lot of time, business faces um, the issues where they have to make a decisions. They have to make a decision to restructure their business. It doesn't mean the restructuring of the business portfolio doesn't only mean only that's in a something in a negative sense. That's also in the positive sense, and in fact, the combination of the positive and the negative. For example, for example, now it's time to grow the business. For example, a business that's established since 2 decades, and now they are planning to move aggressively growth. One of the technique to grow the business that we normally consider in the theoretical aspects, that's organic growth. What does that mean? Organic growth means the company will grow by their own aspects internally, organically, naturally. For example, the company management have a strategy from the beginning of the incorporation, since the beginning of the incorporation, that whatever they will earn, one part of the profit reinvest to grow. Like a business that belongs to the banks since 2 decades, in organically grow by establishing or enhancing their branches. Initially having 110 branch, then internally grow by internally grow by adding 5 branch, then 10 branch, then 20 branch. This is internal growth. But it may possible that they wanted to grow in some aggressive manner, and for that aggressive manner, now they are going to decide to acquire the another bank. That's called the acquisition. And this acquisition, it's not the organic growth. In theoretical terms, we can say that it's called inorganic growth. Or a company may possible that they wanted to restructure the portfolio by selling one unit of the business. On the other hand, and get the some money, and on the other hand reinvest that money to acquire another business. So that's called rearrangement, reconstruct of the business portfolio. It also possible that a company have a diversified portfolio of 7 business: textile, consulting, electronics, banking, cement, car, furniture. For example, it's an example. 7 different businesses. But one of the business that belongs to the furniture is a loss making. They wanted to or they are planning to sell the division of the furniture and get the money, planning to get the money and invest the money more into the existing banking units, which are more, which is one of the most or highest marginable business. So one sale, one acquire, only acquire. That's it's all topic about. But we will definitely discuss this topic initially in an isolated manner. First acquisition merger, then reconstruction, then reorganization. But all of the things under one umbrella, that's restructuring of the business portfolio. Exam scope 25 marks to 50 marks. It if it's part of the 25 marks, it belongs to question 2 or 3. Otherwise, question 1. It's a combination. It's a combination. 25 marks or the 50 marks, it depends. Okay, number 2. It's a mix of theory plus calculation. It's a mix of theory and calculation. Must read the book for this topic. It's your specific responsibility. Must read the book. Must have to read the book. It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility. Must have to read the book for the topic. If in the book anything mentioned that how to calculate, ignore. In the book, if it's mentioned that how to calculate, ignore. Because we will discuss all the aspect of the calculation. But as well, we will also discuss all the theoretical aspect. But still, read the theory part. Read the theory part. Okay, now going to start the topic, and particularly starting the topic that's about acquisition and merger. Number one, for this topic, we have to cover in the sequence. First point, theory of business growth. Organic and inorganic. Number two, business valuation. Number three, advanced back working. Number four, mode of consideration. Number five, acquisition related legal framework. Acquisition related legal framework. Then in one class we will discuss the topic of the reorganization. Then in one class we will discuss reconstruction. Okay. Listen carefully. First of all, we have to discuss the point of view that if we are discussing about the term acquisition and merger in the business, so we have to consider two parties in our mind. For example, you are acquirer and I'm acquiree. So initially, the discussion belongs to you. That's called acquirer. You are a company and you are acquirer. You wanted to search some another company to acquire. Either in the same business, in a different business, it's another part. In the same business, that's called expansion. Another business, that's called diversification. But, important point. But the important point. In the case of acquisition, we have to clarify one point that business want to enhance the business in inorganic manner. But other part, another way out for the growth of business is the organic point. Organic means internally growth. It's less aggressive. It's more safe, but it's slow. It's less aggressive. It's slow. So organic has their own dynamics, but As compared to inorganic, it's a slow. Inorganic growth. In case of inorganic growth, that's a more aggressive approach, more challenge we will face. That means if you wanted to acquire another business, for example, um, a huge finance required, another management, it's maybe you will take over, maybe diversification, you have a lack of experience, but more risk, more riskier, more aggressive, more return expected. So initially, I've already shared a document with you. That's a comparison. You just, it's not about line by line learning, and it's not about the um, it's not about to something need to mug up. It's just an understanding. So please read this page about organic growth and inorganic, that's acquisition. Read page number 1, and once you're done, reply me on the WhatsApp. Only page number 1, not page number 2. Have you done it? Please reply me on the WhatsApp uh, once you're done. Only page number 1. It's a very journal discussion. It's not about line by line. Okay, that's good. That's good. So now moving towards more details. That's we are going to discuss about the term business growth, but in an inorganic manner. In an inorganic manner. Okay. So now candidates, some important aspects. For example, you are a company and you are going to acquire me. That is B company. That is acquirer and that is acquiree. And we can also that target company. Acquirer and in front of us target company. So irrespectively that the company with the same industry with another industry, it's a doesn't matter. But before acquisition, number one, this A company wants to value the company. What is about the valuation of this company with respect to acquirer? Huh? And of course, and of course, B company also wants to know the valuation of its own business, irrespectively that is marketable company or not. This is as simple as if you have a cell phone and you wanted to sell your cell phone and it's used manner. Huh? It's yours. Cell phone now becomes second hand and it's used. You wanted to sell it. So if you are, for example, I am a purchaser of your cell phone. So irrespectively, what is your market value or the what market says about your cell phone? But I wanted to evaluate the value of your cell phone. And same as it is. If you are a seller, before selling, you must have to assess the value of your cell phone. So both have the right to value of the business. Same case. For example, Facebook want, acquired the WhatsApp, it's a real fact, by $16 billion. So before acquisition, this 16 billion is the negotiated amount. But before acquisition, Facebook wanted to evaluate that either the worth of what is the worth of the WhatsApp before acquisition. Same case, same case. When the deal was finalizing or before finalizing, with the WhatsApp, WhatsApp ownership also wanted to know the worth of the WhatsApp. So any of the company, both companies, either seller, acquirer, or the acquiree, that's the target company, both wanted to value the company. But do remember one thing. But do remember one thing. Irrespectively, irrespectively, the company has a market value in the stock market. For example, if you wanted to acquire me and I'm listed on the stock market and my equity already in the stock market, and in the stock market you can calculate the total market value of the equity. In the stock market already a total equity is available, but still you wanted to value my company by your own business model, that is it worth to acquire, is it worth to acquire my business for you or not. What I'm trying to say that, let's suppose, listen carefully, in a business context, can you reply me if I'm asking a question? What is the value of any business? What is the value of any business? Sorry. What is the value of any asset for any? What is the value of an asset? What is the value of an asset to a businessman? For example, if you are a businessman and your business has one building, that's asset. So in a generic term, what is the value of that building in front of businessman? Can you reply me on the WhatsApp? Whatever the answer you wanted to show me, I mean in a generic form. Like Nasir Mahmood says that the value of asset of any business is the market value. What your point of view? Fezza, Amna, or whoever taking live session. Market value. Why? What I asked all of you, what is the value of any asset to a businessman? No, 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 no. What I'm asking that, if you are a feel that if you are a businessman and in front of you there is an asset called machine, for example, machine, building. So what is the value to you to that particular asset? No, that is not the market value. Do remember that. Don't don't reply me the term value of any asset as a consumer. Now I'm asking as a businessman. Do remember one thing. For a businessman, the value of asset is for, That is future benefit. That is the future benefit. What does that mean? Once again, if there is any asset, for example, machine, and you ask any businessman, what is the value of this machine to you? The businessman will reply by any wordings, which always means whatever the future benefit this machine can be provided to us, that is the value. That is the future benefit which is value to us. And in the finance, future benefit means present value of future cash flows. And I can prove this, that we already think as a businessman in our studies in this manner. For example, listen carefully. What we do in NPV? What we do in NPV? Reply me my question. I'm asking you. I'm going to ask a very important question to you. What we do in NPV? Clear? Listen here. For example, year 0. You are a businessman. I am your accountant. Let's assume that you are a businessman. I am an accountant. And I ask you that, sir, we in a business, there is a need of machine which have a market value of $1 lakh. I am an accountant and I ask you one question. Sir, there is a machine whose market value $100,000. We need it. As an accountant, I just told you one thing. Sir, there is a business requirement of machine whose market value of $100,000. I have a question with this. As a businessman, you will go and buy the machine, just this information that we need the machine and has a market value of $100,000. Is it? Yes or no? Reply me yes or no. You will go and buy the machine. Is it right decision? No. You will reply me. Accountant, you will tell me, for example, this machine has a life of 3 years. For example, machine has a life of 3 years. And what future benefit? Yes. What future benefit we will get? Then I will calculate the present value of future cash flow. And assume that this present value future cash flow is equal to 100,000. And the discount rate is your required return. Then you will say that yes, as a businessman, if I spend 100,000 now, that's I can get at least the return of my investment with my discount rate 100,000. Then you will reply to me as an accountant, go and buy the machine. So candidates, after this example, whenever anyone asks to you that what is the value of asset to a businessman, or what is the value of an asset with respect to business, you will reply one thing, that the future benefit. We will, and now listen next statement very careful. You just lift up or replace the term with another business. What I mean to say, I'm next thing is that we are not going to buy an asset. Now I'm saying that you are acquirer and you are going to acquire my company as an acquirer. You are Toyota, for example, and you are going to acquire my business of Ford. You are Facebook, you are going to acquire my business WhatsApp. You are Procter and Gamble and you are going to acquire me Gillette. So what is your thinking? Although Gillette stock already before 2005, Gillette already listed on the stock market, but still before the acquisition, due diligence report was made and prepared by the KPMG to and provide service to the Procter and Gamble to evaluate the value of the Gillette. And I was the part in the Pakistan. Even though HP merger before 2000, HP merger with the Compaq. Compaq was listed on the stock market, but HP was needed before acquisition, the future benefit assessment of the Compaq. And same way, other way around, before selling of the Gillette also evaluate the value of the business. Candidates, whatever the business valuation method we will discuss here, all have one theme with different dynamics, either dividend valuation model, either net asset method, either P ratio method, either free cash flow method. That is future benefit. Normally we don't think in our normal life, we don't think in this manner. For example, if you wanted to acquire cell phone, if you wanted to acquire car, you are not thinking like a businessman. You are thinking, we and you in our normal life thinking as a consumer. If, for example, you, you my mother asked me, dear son, now in home we need one more car. So I will not reply with my mother that mother first need to evaluate the NPV. Otherwise, mother will slap to me. Because in our normal life there are some emotions attached to that, but in the future benefit or the business there are no emotions. In our normal life we never evaluate the term future benefit. That's why you were saying to me that value of the business is equal to the market value. No. But on the other hand, if I go to the if I'm going to our business in the morning, if I go to the office and my manager, and I have my own business, and my manager asks me, sir, we wanted to buy a car or lorry for the manufacturing movements, then I will definitely evaluate the future benefit. So this is the clear difference. So do remember, after today's lecture, for the business aspect, the worth of the assets belongs to the future benefit. So is that clear, all of you? Yes, I hope so. That the theoretical background of the business valuation is the future benefit that can be get by the acquisition, and it will definitely affect to the negotiations. Is that clear? Business valuation methods. Number one, net asset method. Number one, net asset method. Net asset method, it's very simple, as same as the F9. That means if you wanted to acquire any business, you wanted to by the way, that's one thing very much important before valuation method. You know that the term sorry business valuation method, the term business, the term business with respect to the balance sheet, that is total asset, total liability, and equity, and that is income statement, and that is sales, and then sales towards PBIT. Yes, and after PBIT, interest, tax, profit after tax. And this profit after tax belongs to equity, huh? That's direct here. And that's something more, that is cash flows. So if the term use business valuation, so term business having two aspects, huh? That's total assets or total equity. So in balance sheet, it's total assets or total equity. These two things are clear. So balance sheet's already the total or accumulated value, huh? But income statement and cash flow, it's 1 year. Okay, so I can say that if any of the business generate the PBIT now, and this is projected, if we project it, then on the basis of projected PBIT, we can calculate the total value of asset. Because the system is that if you invest in money, you invest any money. So either investment as a liability or equity, then these two combination invest here total assets, and then asset generate the revenue and PBIT. So this PBIT is actually belongs to the total value of the business, which is belongs to liability and equity holder. So I repeat in different wordings. Total asset of the business actually belongs to liability holder and equity holder. But if someone say that value of equity, so equity it belongs to only the shareholders, only to the shareholders. But any of the method projected profit after tax, and you know that profit after tax is exclusively belongs to, it's exclusively belongs to the shareholder, then calculate the value of equity. And in very simple words, business valuation term means future benefits, and future benefits is only not only 1 year, it's a total value. Okay, in a simple words, number one method, that is net asset method, and that is balance sheet approach. Yes, how to calculate? It's simple. Realizable value of business. Realizable value means Very simple. Total assets, realizable value, minus total liability, and that is equity. Hence, it's same as F9. Huh? It's nothing advanced, and it's a minimum value of business. It's a minimum value of business. Do remember this point. Huh? It's a minimum value of business. It's a minimum value of business. It's a minimum, at least minimum value of the business. It's this. This is not no goodwill. It's not part of the goodwill. That's you just take a balance sheet of the business and get the realizable value of it. It will be used for a negotiation purpose, but it's not the actual negotiated value. You, as an acquirer, you have to know that this is the minimum realizable value of the business and have to start negotiation. It's more than that. So it's very simple. Number two, P/E ratio method. Number two, P/E ratio method. This is income statement approach. Huh? This is income statement approach. Value of PE, that is value of share divided by earning per share. And we can, if we want, this is the formula of PE. And if you wanted to get the value of share, then you can multiply EPS with the PE. So next thing, PE is equal to potential of business industry. Here the term business means target business, huh? Or acquirer. It's same as F9. It's same as F9. For example, you are a company and you wanted to acquire me. It's acquirer. And B company, target. Market value of share. All the data belongs to B. For example, my EPS is $4 per share. And number two, and assume that I am a bank. B company is a bank. PE of bank. P stands for potential. Potential multiple of bank, for example 10 times. So think with respect to a company. You wanted to acquire me, the bank, and what you wanted to evaluate? You wanted to evaluate that what is the value of B bank with the banking industry potential. With the banking industry potential means if this bank means B bank earned $4 per share and the economy where this bank belongs, for example, we are in Australia. In Australia, the banking potential is 10 times. So that means the future benefit you can get by acquiring, you means A company can get to acquire B company on the basis of industry potential. That is called value of the business, value of this bank, $40 per share. It's same as it is the F9. Here I gave you the P of the bank. Maybe possible you A company is still a bank and I'm a small bank, you are bigger bank. You wanted to acquire me, means bigger bank wanted to acquire smaller bank, and I gave you the PE, for example, PE of A company, and A company potential is comparatively you are the best leading bank in the industry. You are the bank, for example, you are the best leading bank in the Australia, and your potential is higher than average banking sector. Average, this is actually average 10 times. Your potential is more higher. And what you wanted to evaluate? You wanted to evaluate that what if you are one of the leading bank A. If you acquire me, B company bank, and I am earning with the $4. So what will my value if you acquire me? And you will run my bank with your own standard, with your own potential. Standard means potential. And you will say that, yes, if this bank earned $4 per share, and if you acquire me, so the potential of this bank become $48 per share. First of all, you have to know that how to calculate by the PE ratio for the value of any company, and then you have to uh, you have a mindset about the theoretical background of this PE. Huh? It's your F9 knowledge. It's simple. Huh? It's your F9 knowledge. Next, income statement approach, balance sheet approach. Now, cash flow approach. You wanted to acquire me, and there are two cash flow approaches here. Number one, dividend valuation method. Dividend valuation method. Value of share is equal to dividend 1 plus growth divided by KE minus growth. This is a formula with growth. And value of share dividend divided by KE. And this is called without growth. What does that mean? What does that mean? For example, with this example, candidates, do remember one thing. By net asset method, we calculate equity. P ratio method, we calculate equity. Equity. And by dividend valuation model, you will also calculate equity. Equity means it's not the total asset value, it's the value of shares equity. Now I'm going to discuss about the logic of this formula. Let's suppose if I ask a question to you, why you purchase, if I'm asking that, go and buy the shares of the company. Go and buy the shares of any company. Then what will your reply? Why you will buy the share of the company? Why? What the reason? Any of the business, why acquire the equity or why acquire the shares? Can you reply? Because of what? Returns. Very good, Faza. But what returns you are expecting? What returns you are expecting? If you acquire the shares, for example, share price, value of share is $15 per share. You go and invest. Yes, definitely. You wanted to get returns. And returns in two forma. Number one, you wanted to get dividend and you wanted to get capital gain. Two things, na? Yes, two things. Nasir Saab reply gain from the market, capital gain. Abid Saab said dividends. That's good. But actually investor want both things. Dividend plus capital gain. Exactly. But if the value of shares now is $15, it's $15. So I'm going to ask you that go and buy the shares. So means you will go and invest $15. And what you are expecting that at the end of the day means after 1 year, the company provide you the dividend and the capital gain. Do remember one thing. The company at the year end provide you in the cash manner the dividend. But dividend Capital gain, company cannot provide you the capital gain. You will realize the capital gain from the market. You will get the capital gain from the market. So it means if the company want to invest in the business in the $15, for example, you want to acquire the shares, $15, you wanted to get the return that is dividend, right? Okay. My second question, I hope that you got this, this point. My second thing is that what is the life of shares if you acquire the shares? What is the life of shares? Can you reply me? Whatever you think. What is the life of the shares? Come on, reply. Whatever in first word in your mind. What is the life of the shares? Life of shares, not hold the shares. Huh? What is the life of shares? That's what I am asking. That what is the life of the business? Very good. Fizza, reply me. Life of the business. What in a real for example, Fizza, for example, you reply me that the life of shares means life of business. For example, all of you, please listen carefully. If Fizza invited me um, for the opening ceremony of a supermarket, uh, she is going to start, and I go to the um, ceremony of the opening ceremony, opening gala, and ask, congratulates to the Fizza and ask a question to the Fizza that congratulations Fizza, but can you please tell me that for how much time this superstore you have started? Is this the right question that I will ask for any businessman? No, no, this is wrong. If I ask this question to the Fizza, Fizza will definitely uh, regret for the moment where invited to her, where he invited to me, where she invited to me. The simple thing is that the value of the shares, value of the company, that's unlimited, infinite. So two things. What do you expect from the company? The returns, that dividend. This 15 is investment. Another thing that we will assume that dividend the company will provide will infinite time. Okay, that's good. Some maths here. If I ask you that 15 is the future cash flow and it's infinity, and discount rate use 8%. 15 is the cash flow infinity and discounted 8%. Can you reply me the present value of future cash flow on the WhatsApp? If there, ignore dividend, ignored value of shares, just a simple mathematics question. 15 is the future cash flow, infinity, discounted 8%. Calculate me the present value of future cash flow and reply me on the WhatsApp. Yes, it's a very simple. That is 50. You say that future cash flow, sir, future cash flow multiplied by 1 over discount rate. That is very good. 15 multiplied by 1 over 8%. And the answer is 187.5. Absolutely right. Now combine these two things. Maths with this concept. If what dividend valuation model says, dividend, if you are going to acquire my company, You wanted to evaluate that my company on the basis of dividend valuation model, that how or what potential my company to provide the dividend for infinity. That is without growth. For example, value of share is equal to dividend is future cash flow multiplied by 1 over KE, and we can write dividend divided by KE. That is the formula. That is D naught. Or number 2, if there are some growth, the formula like this: dividend 1 plus growth multiplied by 1 over KE minus growth. Because growth, if dividend is infinite, that growth is also infinite. So formula, it's like that with growth: dividend 1 plus growth multiplied by 1 minus KE minus growth. This growth represents next year, but this minus growth represents infinity. In mathematics, if the denominator is lower, in decimals, denominator is lower, then the value will be increased. Leave the logic of formula. Then the formula is dividend 1 plus growth divided by KE minus growth, because growth is also infinite. But the method is future cash flow method. The same question, if I incorporate some growth aspects, for example, dividend is 15 and the company past growth rate is 2%, and KE is 8% minus 2%. Can you please reply me? Can you please reply me? What is the value? All of you, please. That is 255. So is this clear, all of you? What we have discussed till now? Now, one another method we will discuss here: business valuation, which is very commonly examinable. That is free cash flow. That is free cash flow. But candidates, before that, but starting all these things about the free cash flow, one important thing: all of the above method you have already studied in the F9. This is what the another method we will discuss here. That is free cash flow. That is important. Huh? This is very much important. Free cash flow. We will discuss two separate manner. Valuation method. Two different points. First, we will discuss the meaning of free cash flow. The meaning of free cash flow. What is the meaning of free cash flow? Then we will connect the topic with the valuation method. Okay, so if the company, if for example you acquirer and I am acquiree, you wanted to acquire me. So first of all, you have to know that what free cash flow I am earning. What free cash flow I am earning. And then you will value my company on the basis of that free cash flow. So what is the meaning of free cash flow? First of all, candidates, free cash flow means any of the business. It's not, by the way, it's not about the cash flow term. That's accounting. Yes, it's not the accounting cash flow term. It's resemble with that, but not exactly. So what is the meaning of the free cash flow? Whatever the cash, whatever the whatever the cash flow earning by any business on the basis of operating profit, but after paying the necessary expenditure required for the capital one or the working capital investment. Capital one or the working capital matter. I repeat, meaning of free cash flow. Actual amount of cash flow that a company, for example, you are acquirer and I'm B acquiree, has left from its operation after subtracting the amount required from the capital expenditure and working capital, including growth aspect as well. And this is what the cash flow which will actually enhance the shareholder wealth. It's not about the retained earnings. It's not about the retained earning. It's a calculation. It's a calculation. But before calculation, before the calculation aspects, you have to consider one thing very important. Let's take an example. For example, for example, you have a shop in a mall. You have a shop in a mall and you have been doing business since last 20 years. Your profit is growing since last 20 years. Since last 20 years. Your profit is growing, huh? It's good. But what your experience with this shop? For example, it's a shop of your branded clothes. Yes, branded clothes. You import from somewhere and sell the clothes in your as a brand. It's your brand. But in the shopping mall, you have always an experience that every third year you renovate your shop to change the ambience of the shop, change the ambience, because ambience is very count in the consumer business. If the customer regularly visit your shop but your ambience since 20 years are same, that is not eye catching the shop. And it's your observation that to develop the attraction and the eye catching, you have to renovate in the modern style every third year. But every third year you need some reinvestments for that mega reinvestments in the mall. So each year you earn an operating profit, PBIT. But we are here to talk about free cash flows. So term cash flow and PBIT. PBIT is accounting figure. PBIT is accounting figure. So accounting figure converted into cash flow, with assume that sales and costs are cash flows, you have to withdraw or add back the depreciation. You have to add back the depreciation. Yes, number one, this is important. You have to add back the depreciation. And definitely after that, tax working. After that, the tax working. So each year depreciation then tax. But assume that after the tax figure, assume that after the tax figure, after the tax figure, you have to consider one important thing. And what is the important thing to consider here? If you, for example, 100 you earn the PBIT and add back 10 and minus, for example 5 taxation, any by any percentage, 110 minus 5, 105. This is not the money. This is not the money you, it's available to withdraw, and in future your business will be sustainable. Because to maintain this growth, every third year you require renovation, and for that purpose you have to make a reserve for some capital expenditure, for some capital expenditure, and as well as for some, if capital expenditure is required, it means more machinery is required, you need more working capital. So after this reserves for the sustainability of the business, let's suppose 10 and 2, that's 93. It's called your free cash flow. And for my understanding, the free cash flow means, for my understanding, don't write this term on the question paper. Huh? For my understanding, the free cash flow term means stress free cash flow. Stress free means the cash flow that you will withdraw from the business and go and spend. Withdraw from the business, go and spend without any concern of the business. That's not affect. After that, this will not negatively affect to the business. Means if you withdraw the 105 and spend the money, your business survival will be questionable. But if you withdraw and spend 93, this 93, that's not affecting to the business. So this is what the format of or formula mentioned on the books about the free cash flow. Can you please read this theory once again? What is the meaning of free cash flow? Actual amount of cash that a company, for example, you acquire an acquiring company B, has left from its operation after subtracting the amount required from capital expenditure and working capital, including growth and aspect as well. Free cash flow which will actually enhance shareholders' wealth. So candidates, is that clear? Right now, what is the term? I'm not here discuss about the mathematics about the valuation. Just the term free cash flow. How to calculate the 1 year free cash flow. Okay. But do remember, this free cash flow right now is available. This free cash flow, it's available. It's total assets, total liability, total equity. This 93 is actually belongs to both. Liability holders and equity holders. So actually, this is free cash flow of firm. Firm means business. If you minus the term of interest, then this is called free cash flow to equity. For example, there are 13 which is interest. So that's 80, it belongs to it only belongs to equity. So it's a free cash flow firm and free cash flow to equity. Important thing, another, that's important. Now we will discuss the term value. Now we will discuss the term value. Business valuation by free cash flow method. Business valuation by free cash flow method. Number one, by present value method. Total business value is equal to present value of free cash flow by discount rate of WACC. Why WACC? Because Free cash flow belongs to debt and equity both. Number two, total equity value, present value of free cash flow to equity by discount rate of K. So if it's equity valuation, if it's equity value, free cash flow, equity, discount rate, K. Business value means total value. Present value, future cash flow, discount rate, WACC. So it's very simple. It's very simple. Now it's time to work out. It's time to for a working. It's time for a working. So now I am expecting that you people know the calculation of number one, infinity. Number two, simple present value. And number three, delayed infinity. Delayed infinity means year 1, 2, 3, different cash flows. For example, year 100, year 2, 120, year 3, 150. And then infinity year 4 onwards or year 3 onwards. I am expecting this. No worries. I will reply you accordingly. So here is a question, candidates. Here is a question. Here is a question, and please ignore this term of no. Ignore this term no. No, it's mentioned capital allowance are claimable. This is a question. Francis is a private company that is considering listing its shares to stock market in near future. The finance director wishes to value of equity using the free cash flow approach. Following forecast information has been produced. These are the cash flows. Year 1, 2, 3. Sales revenue cost excluding depreciation. And we also need excluding depreciation. By the way, depreciation is there. Finance cost, capital expenditure. Corporate tax rate is 30%, payable same year as cash flows. Capital allowance are claimable. It's claimable. Ignore no. Capital allowance available, claimable. I'm going to change it. Capital expenditure that is necessary to achieve for the forecast sales revenue. Beyond year 3, free cash flow expected to grow steadily 3% per annum to infinity. Company WACC is 11%, cost of equity 14%. Value of the company's debt is 70 million. Determine the value of the company equity using the free cash flow method. Candidates, there are two methods to calculate the value of equity. It's simple. It's very simple. If someone says that, go and calculate the value of equity. Number one, directly calculate the equity value. Number 2, value of total assets or total business minus value of debts, and then remaining part, that is value of equity. Here in this question, there is, listen carefully, here in this question, the requirement is to value equity. The requirement is to calculate the value of equity. Yes, I know that. Cost of equity also available 14%. Finance cost already available. But you have to calculate by the WACC. Means follow this method. Second one. Value of total assets. Value of total assets means free cash flow by this method. Don't calculate free cash flow equity. Calculate the free cash flow. Means till this. Take PBIT plus depreciation minus tax minus capital expenditure, so on. But do remember one thing. Capital allowance are taxable in this case. So you need to calculate by NPV tax on operating cash flows. Tax rate multiplied by taxable income. You remember that? In NPV, taxable income. And for taxable income, initially you incorporate the depreciation. But after that, add back the depreciation. So do remember one thing, you need to calculate the tax first. So whatever you think, do it now. Attempt whatever you think. For your clue, simple free cash flow valuation. Present value working with simple infinity. It's same as dividend valuation. Free cash flow now 1 plus growth, and then WACC or K depends on requirement minus growth. But here the question is not about simple infinity, it's about delayed infinity. And I'm expecting that you have some knowledge about delayed infinity. So you have 10 minutes time, and whatever you think, attempt it. You have the question, this one is your system, and this one I am working in this manner. Yes. Do it now. Whatever you think. I'm giving you 10 minutes. I'm giving you 10 minutes, and after that 10 to 15 minutes more required to attempt this question, and then I will end the class maximum by 30 minutes. Okay, you have 10 minutes to attempt the question. Thank you. Okay, candidates. Now, once again, this is the question, and what's the requirement? That's to calculate the value of equity. How to calculate? The structure is value of business minus value of debt, that's given 70 million, and determine the value of equity. Okay, I hope you are getting my voice clearly and you are understanding what I'm saying. Huh? Okay, but the important aspect is this. Here the question splits in two workings. Number one, year 1 to year 4, and number 2, year 4 onwards. These are two areas. Huh? So number one, year 1 to year 4. Huh? Year 1 to year 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And determine the free cash flows. Let's and number one, sales revenue 85,000, 92,000, 102,000. Candidates, are you all with me? Can you please reply me? You people are very silent mode. Minus cost plus depreciation. Cost plus depreciation. Why? Because we want taxable income. We want taxable income. So 45 plus 12. Hello? Is everyone here? Are you getting my voice? Okay. So number one point to determine the taxable income. Huh? So taxable income means all the costs including depreciation. So that's number one, 57,000. Number two, 49 plus 13. Quickly reply, huh? Total 62. Third year. Can you please reply me about third year? Third year. Cost including depreciation 58, 17. Please be participative. 75. Yes, minus. Final answer 28,000. 92 minus 62. 30,000. 102 minus 75, 27. And that's incorporating the tax payments. Tax payments at the rate 30% same year. 28,000 into 0.3. 9,000. 27,000 into 0.3. $28 minus 8.4, 19,600. Yes. Ignore this step. Add back depreciation. Add back depreciation. Here, taxable and accounting depreciation same. 12, 13 and 17. And after that, these are the normal NPV working. And after that, we need to adjust the working of capital expenditure. And what is the capital expenditure? That is 28,000 minus 8,400 minus 12,000. That is 7,600. And minus further figure of 3,000. 3,000, 32 and 5,000. So now this is what called the term free cash flow. Now, can you please reply me the net figure of year 2? Please, quick. Year 2. And someone also calculated year 3. No answer. Year 3. One moment. I'm replying you. Fizza. 30,900. Fizza asked me about the capital allowance. What is the meaning of capital allowance? Tax savings? I'm sorry. Tax depreciation. Tax depreciation is a non-cash item. It includes this figure and it excludes this figure. Net effect 0, but should be the part of taxable income. The format we have already established since when? Investment appraisal. Yes, that same. Number 2, what's your other point? Interest payment. We are here to calculate the free cash flow, total value of the firm. That's why not adjusting the interest here. Okay. Now discount rate. Discount rate WACC. Using WACC 11%. Reply me about year 1. What is the discount rate? 3 decimal. And calculate the present value. Just calculate NPV. $28,600 into 0.9. 25 740 2000 into 0.811 1622 30,900 into 0.731 22588. So candidates, actually we are working here the present value of free cash flow in this manner. Year 1, 2, 3, 4 onwards. So like this. Year 1, 2, then 3, year 1 figure, year 2 figure, year 3 figure, and infinity. So there are two aspects to cover here. Number one, this, and number two, this one. Okay, so whatever we have done, okay, Fiza, it's a minor mistake, no issue at all. So whatever we have done, 25740 plus 1622 plus 22588, that is 49,950. That's this figure. 49,950. And we need to put this one. But here 4 onwards as well. And what is the question? Sorry, this is the point. That's year 3 and then year 3 onwards. Beyond year 3, free cash flow expected to grow steadily 3% per annum. Infinity. So candidates, listen here carefully. Please listen here carefully. What is the concept of present value here? Listen here, present value. We are calculating now. Now means year 0. So if you calculate year 1 present value, you work out this one. Value year 1 to 0. If you calculate the value for year 2, what is the meaning of present value? If you calculate the value for 3, now the point is that the question says that whatever the free cash flow at year 3, it's move with the percentage of 3%. It's move with the percentage of 3%. And infinity. 3% infinity. So what does that mean? We will, for 3 onwards, we will pick the figure from there. So do remember, the figure of 30,900, it's a start here. But whatever the calculation we will make, we have to move there. What does that mean? Listen this carefully. Year 3, this is working 1 and this is working 2. Year 3 onwards. How to calculate it? 30,900 multiplied by 1 plus 3. This is infinity. Divided by WACC 11%. This is simple infinity. Huh? This is infinity and it should be very much clear. But delayed infinity, because it starts 3 onwards, multiply by 0.731. What is this 0.731? This one. Why this 0.731? Because this till this the working represents air 3, but this 0.731 its movement air 3 to 0. That is the concept you already learned in the F9. So can you please reply me what's the calculation of this 30,900 multiplied by 1.03 divided by 0.08 multiplied by 0.731, and this is what 291 sorry 290,819. So is it clear the figure of the 290,819? It's all F9 delayed infinity matters. 290,819. Eh? 3978. Is it? Two 290,819. It's a right figure. 290,819. So total value of the business 49,550, 290,819. That's 340,369. Now put this figure here. What we are doing, total value of the business 340,369 minus 70,000, that is 270,369. Okay, it's a minor mistake, no issue at all. In a broader context, ignore this decimals working, ignore this matter, please. Is that clear all about the concept of free cash flow and its working style? Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, that's all. Now, candidate, there is an assignment for you. And the assignment is this. One moment, please. The question of taxes. The question of taxes is your assignment. Huh? Taxes PLC. Can you please read the question once? Ignore the term synergy in this question. I'm giving you a small brief of this question. Actually, Paxis is a company who wanted to acquire Rager. Okay, and these are the details, all details. Requirement is that using free cash flow analysis, individual company and potential combined company estimate how much synergy. Ignore the term synergy. There is just calculate the value of Paxis and Rager. Just calculate. Ignore the requirement. Huh? Just calculate the value of Paxis and Rager with free cash flow. By free cash flow. Free cash flow. Free cash flow. That's all. FCF valuation. That's all. This is your assignment. So next class, I want to take next class on tomorrow. That's 11:30 p.m. Next class on tomorrow, 11:30 p.m. Okay. By next 30 minutes, I will share you all the interest related documents. Don't worry. So next class on tomorrow, inshallah. Take care. And I'm expecting this assignment on tomorrow. Or they are not possible to make it early before that. I will try to start by 11, but it's not confirmed. Okay. Okay. I will start by 11. Okay. Thank you very much. Take care a lot. Tomorrow, next class by 11 p.m. inshallah.